Check 1, 2. This is Mr. Nobody, podcast number 2. I think I need to understand why I'm doing this. I think maybe I need to explain why I'm doing this. I had a son. It's not important what his name is, or was, or what my name is, or was. Now I'm Mr. Nobody. I'm Mr. Nobody. Because it doesn't matter. Mr. Nobody. I'm Mr. Nobody. Now it doesn't matter who I am or who you are. What matters is what we do.
Operator, may I help you?
What we put into this web called history, life, society, nature.
Hello, who's calling?
It's funny because I don't know if animals have names to each other. I know they recognize each other, that they are individuals. But so much emphasis gets put on who we think we are, how unique we think we are, how important, self-important.
I can't do this.
And how much attention we need from one another.
Operator, may I help you?
Usually it's a facade. A facade. A facade. A facade. A facade. Pieces of things we wish we were. Yeah, so I had a son. And he died. He killed himself. He killed himself. I had a son. I had a son. I had a son. I'm looking at a Post-it note that's telling me to make calls. Must have been put there before he killed himself. Because his name is on the top of the list.
So I still have
fresh reminders. Some fresh reminders. Although it's been 2.5 years. I feel a little disingenuous myself because I swore I would never make any art or music or writing about this. Because at the time it happened, I was so disgusted, so ashamed, so furious that he would destroy his body and his being in this world.
You dialed a room service. Please check the number and dial again. OB3.
So much emphasis gets put on understanding why people suffer so that we can empathize and sympathize and rescue them. And all I felt was a slamming door. All my addictions. All my my addictions, all my addictions. I don't want anyone to know about them. I'm the only one with the power, with the control. Yeah, so I had a son, and he was beautiful, and he was beautiful, and he was beautiful, and he was beautiful, and he was beautiful. He wasn't a douchebag or some fucked up junkie. Although he died like one. And he would have become just as manipulative and deceitful and immoral or amoral, whatever. That anybody who does these drugs turns into. That includes alcohol. Probably a list of other things. Probably a list of other things. But the one thing that all those addictions that turn you into a shitty person, they all have in common that there's a wall that the user puts up between themselves and everything else. A wall, a veil, a wall. I think it's a wall. I think it's a wall. I think it's a wall. I had a son who killed himself. He was in school, which was my greatest pride for him. After struggling myself for years of ignorance and unskill, when I finally took my ass to school in my 30s and bowed before knowledge itself, humbled myself in front of brilliant and skillful teachers, and saw my life change, felt my brain grow. The thing I really wanted for my son was to illuminate his mind with truth, knowledge, and skill. The good shit, not the bullshit, not the bullshit, not the bullshit, not opinions and trying to make yourself important or special using shortcuts. I had a son. After the softball game, took a shower around midnight. He went into his room. He was an athlete, a brilliant fighter, powerful fighter. So he was injecting the heroin fentanyl soup into his legs somewhere so that people couldn't see it on his arms. So obviously he was willing to hide it at that point. I know he put his headphones in. For a long time, I was so angry that someone with so much promise, so much creativity, he could paint and draw the most amazing things. He was becoming a deep and sensitive and skilled guitarist. That's a lot to throw away. Most importantly, he was a good person in his heart. He was somebody who wanted to be part of helping people. You know, not just acquiring stuff and trying to keep it to himself. We talked about this a lot. The idea that you don't need 10 guitars. You need 2 good ones. The other 8 won't help you play any better. That a good martial artist is something that lives inside of you. It's not about what you say, it's about how it really is. Your humility, your willingness to learn and do what's right. It's a lot to throw away. During that time, I was working on a show, and for, I guess it was 10 weeks, for 10 weeks, I said to my son, hey, I know you're coming up to see me and your family. And for the next, 2 months, I'm going to be in production for this concert. It was just a concert, but it was my first show with my new group. And I'd been working on a guitar technique based on conversations I had with my son, where we were showing each other and asking each other questions about how to best deal with chord changes and how to connect and voice lead those changes. And at the time, I was playing with some great guitar players. And I had to very quickly drop a lot of preconceptions about how to play and find a way to really play in time. Similar to fighting, a lot of people train, but they have no idea how it looks like when it happens, or what it feels like when it happens, or what you have to do when it happens. It's really different. And I always told my son, train how you fight, because you're going to end up fighting how you train. Practice how you intend to play. Practice how you intend to play. It's tricky. And it requires a lot of dedication and work and honesty with yourself. But I can't shake the feeling that he knew at that time that I was trusting him to let me work. And we were talking on the phone, but to know that he was okay. A part of my mind moved itself from worry. I mean, I wasn't picking up anything from him that he was doing something as reckless, as dangerous, and as fucked up as heroin. But he was. My son was so beautiful. And he wasn't lazy either. He worked. I supported him, but I said, you have to get a job. And he got 2. He worked in a gym. At his funeral, some people told me that he had been helping this man in a wheelchair who was coming to the gym, and my son was reading, and he put his book down whenever this guy came. It's not out of pity, it's out of love and respect for the human spirit. That's why he helped him, because that's who my son was. He was beautiful. I heard a lot of stories about him where he stood up for what was right and decent, and he didn't let people get bullied. He was a very sensitive and fun person. But he liked heroin. He hadn't, to my knowledge, done it for a while. Like 4.5 years. But I had heard at his funeral that through a former girlfriend of his who knew that he was looking for it. When I heard that, I know that if a person's looking for it, they're looking for it, they're looking for it. I feel so stupid and blind to have not picked up on this. And I foolishly thought that my son and I did not keep secrets. Although I know that everybody keeps secrets. You keep secrets. I keep secrets. Usually they have to do with pleasure or shame. And usually those things are connected. That the things that we find pleasure in, we're ashamed of. My son told me that there was a girl who came to the gym, and she was a stripper, and she really liked him because he was a beautiful person, a beautiful looking guy. He told me about this young lady and mentioned some drama that she was having. And you know how you hear those dark chords when somebody says something? Those foreboding, foreshadowing stabs. I felt that when he mentioned this person. And I could tell that he was intrigued by her body and something else. Yeah, something else. Having met my share of drug users, I know what that is, and I know what that's like. Because you could end up in bed really fast and just saying fuck it, getting high, having sex, and really taking a vacation from all that hard work and skill acquisition and decency. You can just get flushed down the toilet really fast. And I told him, get away. Just get away from this chick. Do not engage. It turns out that she was a junkie, and they had planned to shoot up or do drugs together. So he spoke that language. He was enough into it from his period of recklessness in high school, which I'll get into. And I guess he wanted it enough, and the combination of the sex and the excitement and the vacation from reality and the wall and the wall and the it's wall. Pretty alluring. I've been there myself. Not with heroin or one of these bullshit drugs that kills people, but I've been there. I learned later that he went around this girl's back and found her dealer and scored hard drugs from this fucker. And she was really pissed off. And I only know this because it was in the texts in his phone. How dare you? How dare you? I thought we were going to do this together. You fucking asshole. How dare you? How dare you? He wanted it on his terms. Yeah. 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 What the hell did I know? I know nothing. I knew nothing then. I know nothing now. Except that this game, played with these toys, is bullshit. Because it kills you. And it kills everyone around you. The love, the sweetness, the sunlight, the animals, the plants. I had a wonderful son. And I can't believe that he somehow rationalized surviving this. When all these people were dying everywhere, dropping like flies. How stupid can you be to take these drugs when you know where this is going? I hear those dark chords. I've heard them all my life because I've had many opportunities to take these drugs. And I never met a junkie or a crackhead or a meth head that I liked. Never. I never met a person who was on those drugs and I said, ooh, I want to be more like them. So why am I doing this? I don't want people to know who I am, although I don't care. You don't have to know who my son is, but if you did, it wouldn't matter. What matters is I believe that I'm not unique, and that inside everybody there are those dark chords that should warn you. When my son was 17, I found 2 little bags of heroin in my house. And I'm not gonna lie, I was curious. I was like, what is the dealio here? Why all this love? And I kept those 2 bags around. And you know, they were inside of another bag with some cotton. You know, it's a whole game. And on the tiny little bags that contain the powder was a stamp, a little rubber stamp that somebody took the time out of their fucking day to put their bullshit stamp on their drugs. And I hate drug dealers. They're murderers. I called my son up and I said, hey, I found this. I found these bags in my apartment, in our apartment where we were living. Whose are they? And he said, I'm sorry, Dad, they belong to my friend. I knew my son's friends, or thought I did. Who? And he said, I don't want to tell you. And I said, son, the person who is doing this is gonna die. Who would I be if I did not reach out to that person's family? Who would we be if we did not try to intervene knowing that they're gonna die from this bullshit? Please, let's help these people right now. And he said, Dad, they're mine. Dark chords, stabs, and then more dark chords, and then bright light, blinding light. How stupid am I? Of course there is. Know yourself. Nothing to excess. I have heard that a person cannot know themselves until they've gone too far.